Hello again. The BBC website carried an extraordinary piece this morning, headlined Farmers at War with Countryside Crime Gangs. It was interesting and perfectly accurate as far as it went, but nowhere did it mention who these crime gangs actually were. I'll give a link to this strange article in the description to this video. It's understandable that the BBC would be a little coy about going into the actual identity of these gangs, because the truth is that they are almost without exception foreigners who are waging a relentless war against our farms. It's curious really, because we hear sometimes of the struggles of farmers in South Africa or Rhodesia, but we are most of us oblivious to the attacks on our own farms. A few years ago, people could wander across the countryside and cross farms with the owners not being at all bothered, just as long as you closed the gate behind you and didn't allow your dog to worry their sheep. This was typical behaviour in a high-trust society, where it was assumed that strangers shared the same general principles as you did yourself, and until you had firm evidence to the contrary, you trusted people to behave well. You took it for granted that they were people of goodwill. That has now changed, and many farmers are suspicious of strangers on their property in case they are scouting with the intention of launching a robbery against the farm. You see, these days farmers relying heavily on specialised, very expensive GPS systems fitted to their tractors are the norm. These things cost thousands of pounds, and farming in England is now geared around those systems. Gangs of men from Bulgaria, Lithuania and other Eastern European nations therefore think it worth launching nighttime raids on farms and stealing these complicated and expensive systems from the tractors, sometimes even along with the tractors themselves. They then take them abroad and sell them. This is the vital detail left out of the BBC story, of course. Heaven forbid that anybody should speak ill of foreigners. In the description to this video, I give a link to a news report about a typical example of this breed. At Chelmsford Crown Court in Essex 18 months ago, Ada Chesner and Gintaras Jankauskas were found guilty of raiding 13 farms in a month, stealing £380,000 worth of equipment from agricultural vehicles. I give another link to a similar case at Hull, where two men called Thomas Dalkauskas and Mantas Palionis were convicted of stealing £200,000 worth of GPS equipment from tractors. The report says that these two characters are from Hull, but if you believe that, you'll believe anything. Try Googling these offences and you will find that almost invariably those convicted are from Eastern Europe. The raids themselves are organised with military precision and carried out at night by men wearing camouflage clothing and balaclavas. Many people living in isolated farms in England these days feel that they are under siege. They live in a state of trepidation. The effect of these crimes is to disrupt agriculture in this country. When carried out at harvest time, it can be disastrous for a farmer. Since the insurance companies usually end up paying out, this affects all of us, not just farmers. It affects you and me. That £380,000 worth of equipment mentioned in the news report will be paid by the insurance company, and they will then recoup their loss by raising premiums for insuring our homes and property. Anybody noticed insurance premiums rising in recent years? Perhaps worst of all, there is the fact that the countryside is becoming as prone to this kind of thing as the cities, and for similar reasons. Most people living in English cities know that the chances of theft or assault or antisocial behaviour are far higher than was once the case. The countryside, though, has always seemed exempt from this trend. Not anymore, though. Gangs of Aboriginal foreigners are roaming around, making raids on farms and disrupting agriculture in this country. These days, farmers have to be as much on the alert for trouble as those who live in rough inner city areas. It's all part and parcel of the changes we've witnessed in this country over the last 20 years or so. In other words, the English countryside is nowhere near as relaxing and carefree as it used to be.